Korean Mafia boss comforts a child and becomes captivated by the black mother who appears next. What if I told you that the person who changes your entire life might be a crying child you almost walked past? This is the true story of a man who ruled Seoul's underworld and the woman who captured his heart with nothing but her strength and her smile. A black mother society had overlooked, a Korean Mafia boss who thought he had everything figured out, and one impossible moment that rewrote both their destinies forever. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll never look at the people around you the same way again. You'll understand why sometimes our greatest blessings come wrapped in the most unexpected packages. And you might just realize that someone in your life right now is waiting for you to finally see them. This is a story about second chances, hidden strength, and the kind of love that finds us when we've stopped looking. Welcome to Voice of Granny. While you're here, please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us your thoughts on the story and where you're watching from. What state or country are you tuning in from today? We love hearing from our family around the world. You know, sometimes life has a way of humbling the most powerful among us. Let me tell you about Kang Min-jun, a man who believed he had conquered everything worth conquering. Min-jun was the kind of man whispered about in Seoul's shadows, feared, commanding, the undisputed leader of the Black Dragon Syndicate, an empire he had forged from the ashes of his painful childhood. For 15 years, he had clawed his way from the slums of Busan to the penthouse suites of Gangnam, sacrificing everything for power. His tailored charcoal suit fit perfectly across his broad shoulders as he stood near the bar at an elegant outdoor wedding reception. The string quartet played something classical as champagne flowed and wealthy guests mingled under paper lanterns strung between cherry blossom trees. Min-jun was supposed to be networking at this wedding. The groom was a potential business partner whose legitimate shipping company could prove useful for certain operations. Instead, he found himself distracted by something completely unexpected. A child's scream cut through the string quartet's melody like a knife through silk. Every head at the elegant reception turned toward the dessert table, where a small girl stood frozen, her mouth wide open in pure terror. Tears streamed down her brown cheeks as she clutched a torn photograph in her tiny fists. Her pink flower girl dress was smudged with dirt at the hem, and her white shoes were scuffed. "Mommy!" she wailed, her voice breaking. "Mommy's gone! Mommy's gone!" Wedding guests exchanged uncomfortable glances. Some pretended not to notice, others whispered behind their champagne glasses. A few women in designer dresses approached the child hesitantly, then backed away when her crying intensified. The bride's aunt tried to touch her shoulder, but the little girl recoiled, shaking her head violently. "Where's your mother, sweetie?" the woman asked, her voice strained with false cheer. "She's gone." The child sobbed harder, her whole body trembling. "She went to the car, and she didn't come back. She's gone. Something bad happened." Min-jun stood near the bar, watching the scene unfold. Something about the child's desperate fear pulled at memories he had buried deep. Memories of being small and terrified and completely alone. Before he could stop himself, he was walking toward her while everyone else stepped back. He knelt down on one knee, bringing himself to her eye level. His tall frame folded with practiced ease. Up close, he could see the terror in her dark brown eyes. She couldn't have been older than 6. "Hey there," he said softly, his deep voice gentler than anyone who knew him would have believed possible. "My name is Min-jun. What's your name?" The little girl hiccuped, studying his face through her tears. "Zara," she whispered. "Zara, that's a beautiful name. Can you tell me what happened?" "My mommy brought me here. She was taking pictures for the wedding. Then she said she needed to get something from the car. She told me to wait by the cake table." Zara's voice rose again. "But she's been gone so long. She always comes back fast. Always. Something's wrong." Min-jun felt a chill run down his spine. The child's instincts were sharp, too sharp for someone so young. "How long has she been gone?" "I don't know. A really long time. I counted to 103 times. Zara's tears fell faster. "She wouldn't leave me. She wouldn't. My mommy loves me." "I believe you," Min-jun said firmly. "We're going to find her right now. I promise you." Around them, the wedding guests had resumed their conversations, their concern evaporating like morning dew. The bride was dancing with her father. The groom laughed at someone's joke. Life went on while this child's world was falling apart. Min-jun stood and scanned the crowd for security. He spotted 2 guards in navy blue jackets near the entrance to the garden venue. He picked up Zara, who wrapped her arms around his neck and buried her face in his shoulder. Her small body shook with silent sobs. "Excuse me." Min-jun approached the security guards with authority that made both men straighten instinctively. They recognized power when they saw it, Even without knowing who he was, this child's mother is missing. Her name is Zara, and her mother was hired as the photographer for this wedding. The child says her mother went to the parking lot over 30 minutes ago and hasn't returned. The older security guard, a man with gray hair and tired eyes, pulled out a radio. What's the mother's name? Zara lifted her head. Amara Johnson. My mommy is Amara Johnson. And what was she wearing? The guard asked. A red blouse and black pants, Zara whispered. She had her big camera with a black strap. The security guard spoke into his radio, calling for a sweep of the parking area. Min-jun held Zara closer, feeling her heartbeat racing against his chest. Something wasn't right. A professional photographer wouldn't abandon her child at a wedding. Not for this long. Sir, we'll handle this from here, the younger guard said, reaching for Zara, but the little girl's grip tightened around Min-jun's neck. No, I want to stay with Mr. Min-jun. It's fine, Min-jun said, his tone leaving no room for argument. I'll stay with her until her mother is found. Radio me when you have news. He pulled a business card from his pocket and handed it to the guard. My cell number is on there. The guards exchanged glances at the name on the card. Kang Min-jun. Everyone in Seoul's business world, legitimate and otherwise, knew that name. They nodded quickly and hurried toward the parking lot. Min-jun carried Zara to a quiet corner of the garden, away from the noise and celebration. He sat down on a stone bench under a large magnolia tree. The June afternoon sun filtered through the leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow on the grass. Can you show me that picture you're holding? Min-jun asked gently. Zara uncurled her fist, revealing a torn photograph. It showed a beautiful black woman with a bright smile holding a baby. The woman wore a green summer dress and her natural hair fell in soft curls around her face. Half of the photo was torn away, leaving a jagged edge. That's my mommy, Zara said, touching the image with one finger. It's from when I was a baby. That's me she's holding. She looks very happy, Min-jun observed. She is happy. We're happy together. Zara's chin trembled. Why isn't she here? She promised she'd be fast. Min-jun didn't have an answer that would comfort her. Instead, he said, tell me about your mom. What does she like to do? She takes pictures, beautiful pictures. She showed me how to use a camera. She says I have a good eye. Zara's voice steadied slightly as she talked. She makes me pancakes on Sundays. We go to Hangang Park and feed the ducks. She reads me stories every night before bed. She sounds like a wonderful mother. She's the best mommy in the whole world, Zara said with fierce certainty. Then her face crumpled again. Where is she? Why won't anyone find her? Min-jun's phone buzzed. He answered immediately. Kang Min-jun, Mr. Kang. This is Officer Park with venue security. We found Miss Johnson in the parking lot. She's unconscious. Paramedics are on the way. The world seemed to tilt. Min-jun kept his voice calm even as his heart raced. Is she breathing? Yes, sir. Pulse is weak but steady. Looks like she collapsed. There's no sign of trauma or foul play. The paramedics are here now. I'm bringing her daughter to the parking lot. Sir, maybe the child shouldn't see. She deserves to know her mother is being helped, Min-jun said firmly. We're coming. He ended the call and looked down at Zara. Her big brown eyes watched him with hope and fear mixed together. They found your mom, Zara. She's sick and needs to go to the hospital, but the doctors are going to help her. Is she going to die? Zara's voice was barely a whisper. No, sweetheart. She's going to be okay. But we need to go to her now. Min-jun stood, still holding Zara, and walked quickly through the garden. Behind them, the wedding continued. The band played. Guests laughed. Nobody noticed the man in the charcoal suit carrying a terrified child toward the parking lot where an ambulance's lights flashed red and blue against the late afternoon sky. Have you ever watched someone's world fall apart while everyone around them just kept celebrating? Could you walk past a crying child? Or would you stop? Drop a comment below and let me know what you would do. And if this story is pulling at your heart, hit that subscribe button so you never miss what happens next. The parking lot was chaos transformed into careful order. 2 ambulances sat with their back doors open, lights painting the asphalt in urgent colors. Paramedics in navy blue uniforms moved with practiced efficiency around a woman lying on the ground between 2 cars. Even from a distance, Min-jun could see her, the red blouse Zara had described. The professional camera lying a few feet away, its lens cap still on. The woman's brown skin looked pale in the harsh emergency lights, and her body was completely still. "Mommy!" Zara screamed, struggling in Min-jun's arms. "Let me go. I need my mommy." A female paramedic with kind eyes approached them quickly. "Sweetheart, your mommy is going to be okay. We're helping her right now, but you need to stay back so we can work, all right?" "What happened to her?" Min-jun asked over Zara's crying. Looks like she collapsed from exhaustion and dehydration. Her blood sugar is dangerously low. When did she last eat? Zara sobbed into Minjun's shoulder. She didn't eat breakfast this morning. She said she didn't have time. She had to go to 3 different jobs before we came here. The paramedic's face tightened with understanding and sadness. 3 jobs? She works really hard, Zara said through her tears. She's always tired, but she never stops. She says she has to take care of us. Minjun felt something crack open in his chest. He had built an empire from nothing, working himself to exhaustion in his 20s, but he had resources, connections, power. This woman had a child to feed and was pushing herself past the breaking point with nothing but her own 2 hands. We're transporting her to Samsung Medical Center, the paramedic said. Are you family? Minjun hesitated. I'm helping. This is her daughter, Zara. I'm making sure she gets to her mother. The paramedic nodded. Follow the ambulance. Emergency department, room 7. Minjun watched as they loaded Amara Johnson onto a stretcher. She didn't wake up. Her head lolled to the side, and her camera bag slipped from her shoulder. A younger paramedic caught it before it hit the ground. Her camera, Zara whispered. She needs her camera for work. I'll make sure she gets it, Minjun promised. He carried Zara to his car, a sleek black sedan that stood out among the wedding guests' vehicles. As he buckled her into the back seat, he noticed the torn photograph still clutched in her hand. Where's the other half of this picture? He asked gently. Zara's face went still. My daddy has it. Mommy tore it in half after he left us. She said she didn't want to see his face anymore. But she kept my baby picture because I was beautiful even when I was tiny. Minjun felt anger flash through him, hot and sudden. What kind of man walked away from this precious child and her hard-working mother? When did he leave? Minjun asked as he started the car. When I was 3. I don't remember him much. Mommy says that's okay. She says we're better off with just us 2. Zara's voice got smaller, but sometimes she cries at night. I hear her through my bedroom door. She tries to be quiet, but I always hear. The drive to Samsung Medical Center took 12 minutes. Minjun kept checking the rearview mirror, watching Zara's frightened face. She sat perfectly still, her hands folded in her lap, the torn photo pressed between her palms. Are you scared? Minjun asked. Yes, Zara admitted. I'm scared all the time lately. Mommy tries to hide it, but I know we're in trouble. Last week, a man came to our door and said we had to leave our apartment. Mommy cried after he left. Then she worked extra hours every day. Did your mom find a new place to live? Minjun asked carefully. I don't know. She stopped talking about it. She just keeps working. Zara looked out the window at the passing buildings of Seoul. She's going to be mad at me. Why would she be mad at you? Because everyone saw me crying at the wedding. She always tells me to be brave and strong. She says Johnson girls don't fall apart. Zara's bottom lip trembled. But I was so scared. I thought something bad happened to her. I thought maybe she left me like Daddy did. Zara, look at me, Minjun said firmly, pulling into the hospital parking lot. He turned in his seat to face her. Your mother didn't leave you. She got sick because she's been working too hard trying to take care of you. And crying when you're scared doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Your mom would want you to ask for help when you need it. Are you sure? I'm positive. They walked into the emergency room together. Zara's small hand gripped tightly in Minjun's larger one. The fluorescent lights were harsh after the soft garden atmosphere of the wedding. A tired-looking receptionist glanced up from her computer. We're here for Amara Johnson, Minjun said. This is her daughter. The receptionist's expression softened when she saw Zara. Room 7. Through those double doors, turn right. The emergency department was organized chaos. Nurses rushed past with clipboards and medicine carts. Machines beeped in different rhythms. Somewhere down the hall, someone moaned in pain. But in room 7, everything was quiet. Amara Johnson lay in a hospital bed, an IV line running into her left arm. Her eyes were closed, but her chest rose and fell with steady breaths. Someone had pulled her natural hair back into a simple ponytail. Her red blouse was wrinkled from lying on the hot asphalt. Mommy, Zara whispered, pulling free from Minjun's hand. She ran to the bedside and grabbed her mother's hand. Mommy, please wake up. A doctor in a white coat entered the room, her stethoscope draped around her neck. She had warm brown eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Are you family? She asked Minjun. I'm a friend. I was at the event where Miss Johnson collapsed. I've been taking care of her daughter. The doctor nodded. Miss Johnson is stable now. Her blood sugar was critically low and she's severely dehydrated. When was the last time she had a proper meal? Minjun looked at Zara, who shook her head. I don't know. Maybe yesterday. She gave me her lunch yesterday because she said she wasn't hungry. But I think she was just making sure I had enough to eat. The doctor's jaw tightened. She's malnourished. Her body is running on empty. If she'd gone much longer without collapsing, the consequences could have been severe. She glanced at Zara, then chose her words carefully. Her body was shutting down, But she's going to be okay now? Minjun asked. With rest, proper nutrition, and hydration, yes. But she can't continue living the way she has been. Her body can't sustain this level of stress. The doctor looked directly at Minjun. Does she have support? Family who can help? I don't know, Minjun admitted. I just met her daughter today. Well, someone needs to make sure she takes care of herself. She's got a child depending on her. The doctor made a note on her chart. We'll keep her overnight for observation and IV fluids. She should wake up in the next hour or so. After the doctor left, Minjun sat in the chair next to Amara's bed. Zara climbed onto his lap, her eyes fixed on her mother's face. Will she be mad that we're at the hospital? Zara asked quietly. Why would she be mad? Because hospitals cost money. Mommy always says we can't afford extra things. Last time I got sick, she took care of me at home even though I had a really high fever. She put cold towels on my head and stayed up all night watching me. Minjun's hands curled into fists. This woman was sacrificing everything, even her health, to care for her daughter. And now she'd have medical bills on top of whatever financial crisis had led to her eviction notice. Don't worry about the money, Minjun said. I'll take care of it. Zara looked up at him with wide eyes. Why would you do that? You don't even know us. Because your mom needs help. And sometimes accepting help from others is the bravest thing we can do. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the beep of the heart monitor. Minjun made a mental note to call his assistant and have her clear his schedule for the next few days. He wasn't leaving this hospital until he knew Amara and Zara would be okay. 20 minutes later, Amara's eyes fluttered open. She stared at the ceiling for a moment, confused. Then she turned her head and saw Zara on Minjun's lap. Zara. Her voice was hoarse and weak. Baby, what happened? Where are we? Mommy. Zara scrambled off Minjun's lap and threw herself at her mother, careful to avoid the IV line. You got sick. You fell down in the parking lot. I was so scared. Amara's arms came up automatically to hold her daughter, but her movements were slow and uncoordinated. Her eyes found Minjun's face, confusion and alarm mixing in her expression. Who are you? She asked. Where's my camera? The wedding. I was supposed to finish the reception shots. Your camera is safe, Minjun said calmly, standing up. I'm Kang Minjun. I found Zara at the wedding after you collapsed. The paramedics brought you here. Amara's face went pale, then flushed with embarrassment and panic. The hospital? No. I can't afford this. I need to leave. I need to. She tried to sit up, but her body wouldn't cooperate. I have to get back to work. I have bills to pay. Miss Johnson, you need to rest, Minjun said firmly. The doctor says you collapsed from exhaustion and low blood sugar. You're malnourished and dehydrated. I'm fine, Amara insisted, even as her hands shook. I just need to eat something. Zara, baby, get Mommy's purse. We're going home. Mommy, please don't go, Zara begged. The doctor said you have to stay. Tears filled Amara's eyes. I can't stay, baby. We can't afford it. You don't understand. Actually, I do understand, Minjun said quietly. I grew up poor, Miss Johnson. My parents died when I was 8. My grandmother raised me in a one-room apartment in Busan. She worked 3 jobs just like you're doing. I watched her destroy her health trying to give me a better life. He paused. She died when I was 16. Heart attack. The doctor said it was from stress and exhaustion. Amara stared at him, tears spilling down her cheeks. I'm sorry about your grandmother, but I don't have a choice. Zara needs food, clothes, a place to live. I'm all she has. You're no good to her dead, Minjun said bluntly. And that's where you're heading if you don't stop and accept help. Help from who? A stranger? From someone who understands what you're going through and has the resources to change your situation. Minjun pulled the chair closer to her bed. Let me help you, please. Amara looked at her daughter, then back at Minjun. Her pride warred with her desperation. Finally, she closed her eyes and whispered, what kind of help? The hospital room was quiet, except for the steady beep of monitors and the hum of air conditioning. Minjun sat down in the chair next to Amara's bed while Zara curled up against her mother's side, careful not to disturb the IV line. First, let me handle the hospital bill, Minjun said. That's non-negotiable. You need medical care, and worrying about the cost while you're recovering won't help anyone. Amara started to protest, but Minjun held up a hand. Before you say no, think about Zara. Think about what would have happened if you'd collapsed somewhere else. Somewhere she wasn't safe. Somewhere no one found you in time. His voice was gentle but firm. You can't take care of her if you're dead, Miss Johnson. The blunt words hit Amara like cold water. She looked down at Zara, who had fallen asleep against her shoulder, exhausted from fear and crying. Her baby girl's face was still marked with dried tears. You're right, Amara whispered, her own tears falling now. I know you're right. I've been trying so hard to do everything myself. After Zara's father left, I promised myself I'd never depend on anyone again. I'd never let anyone have power over us. Accepting help isn't the same as giving up power, Minjun said. It's strategic, smart. Every successful person I know got where they are because they knew when to ask for assistance. And what do you want in return? Amara asked, her voice thick with suspicion and exhaustion. Nobody helps for free. There's always a price. Minjun leaned back in his chair, choosing his words carefully. I want you to get healthy. I want Zara to have a stable home. And selfishly, I want to stop feeling guilty about having so much when others have so little. Guilt is a terrible reason to help someone. You're right, so let me give you a better one. Minjun met her eyes directly. I own a media company, Dragon Media Group. We specialize in visual content, marketing campaigns, brand storytelling. I've been looking for a lead photographer for months. Someone with real talent, not just technical skill. Someone who can capture genuine emotion in their work. And you think that's me? You've never even seen my portfolio. I saw your camera bag. I saw the way you organized your equipment. But mostly I saw your daughter's face when she talked about your work. She said you take beautiful pictures. She said you taught her to see the world through a lens. Minjun pulled out his phone. May I look at your website? Amara hesitated, then nodded. AmaraJohnsonPhotography.com. But it's nothing special. Just weddings, events, some family portraits. Minjun typed the address into his browser. The website loaded, and he scrolled through her gallery in silence. Amara watched his face, trying to read his expression. The photographs were stunning, not because of expensive equipment or fancy editing, but because of the raw emotion in every frame. A bride laughing with her head thrown back. Pure joy captured mid-motion. An elderly couple holding hands at their anniversary party. 50 years of love visible in their intertwined fingers. A child blowing out birthday candles. Wonder and excitement lighting up his face. Nothing special? Minjun said, looking up from his phone. Miss Johnson, these are incredible. You have a gift? Thank you. Amara said quietly, not sure if she believed him. But I'm not some fancy art photographer. I just take pictures at parties and weddings. You capture moments that matter. That's what my company needs. Minjun set his phone down. Here's my offer. I want to hire you as the lead photographer for Dragon Media Group. Full-time position. Salary of $120 million per year, plus benefits, health insurance, dental, vision, 4 weeks paid vacation, flexible hours so you can be there for Zara, and a company car so you don't have to worry about transportation to shoots. Amara's mouth fell open. She stared at Minjun like he'd just spoken in a foreign language. 120 million won? That's more than I make in 3 years working all my jobs. Then you're severely underpaid for your talent. I can't accept that, Amara said automatically, even as hope flickered in her chest. It's too much. I'm not worth that. The market disagrees with you. That's a standard salary for a lead photographer at a major media company. Actually, it's on the lower end, but we can renegotiate after 6 months if you prove yourself, which I'm confident you will. Why would you do this? Amara asked. Suspicion creeping back in. You don't know me. I could be a terrible employee. I could steal from you. I could be unreliable. Are you any of those things? No. Then the question is whether you're willing to accept help when it's offered. Minjun's voice softened. Miss Johnson, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust yourself. Take the job. Work hard. Prove you deserve it. If it doesn't work out after 3 months, we'll part ways with no hard feelings. But give yourself a chance. Amara looked at Zara again, her sleeping daughter's face peaceful now. When was the last time her baby had looked this relaxed? Usually, even in sleep, Zara's forehead was creased with worry that no 6-year-old should carry. What about housing? Amara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. We're being evicted from our apartment at the end of the month.
I've been looking for something affordable, but everything requires first month, last month, and a security deposit. I don't have that kind of money saved. The company has corporate housing for new employees. You can stay there rent-free for the first 3 months while you save up for your own place. After that, the company subsidizes housing costs as part of the benefits package. This is too good to be true, Amara said, shaking her head. People don't just hand you a perfect life because you collapsed at a wedding. You're right, they don't. But I'm not handing you anything. I'm offering you a job. You'll work for every penny of that salary. My company has high standards, and I expect excellence from my team. Minjun stood up. Think about it tonight. The offer stands until you're discharged tomorrow. If you decide to accept, my assistant will have all the paperwork ready. And if I say no, then I'll make sure your hospital bill is paid, and I'll wish you the best. No strings attached, no pressure. But I hope you'll say yes, Miss Johnson, for Zara's sake, if not your own. Minjun walked to the door,
then paused and turned back. One more thing. My grandmother used to tell me that pride is expensive. Sometimes the cost of refusing help is higher than the cost of accepting it. She learned that lesson too late. Don't make the same mistake. After he left, Amara lay in the hospital bed, staring at the ceiling. Zara stirred against her shoulder, mumbling something in her sleep about pancakes and parks. Amara's hand smoothed her daughter's hair automatically, a gesture of comfort she'd performed 1,000 times. 120 million won a year, health insurance, a place to live, a chance to stop running on empty. It was everything she needed, everything she'd been praying for during those late nights when the bills piled up, and the eviction notice sat on the kitchen counter like a ticking time bomb. But could she trust it? Could she trust him? A nurse came in to check Amara's vitals. She was a woman in her 50s with gray streaks in her black hair and kind eyes. "You've got a good friend," the nurse said as she checked the IV drip. "Mr. Kang already took care of your bill, the whole thing, and he arranged for a private room so your daughter can stay with you comfortably tonight." "He's not my friend," Amara said automatically. "I just met him today." "Well, he sure is acting like a friend. Maybe even something more, given the way he looks at you." The nurse winked. "There's nothing like that," Amara protested, feeling her face flush. "He's just being kind. Honey, I've worked in this hospital for 30 years. I've seen a lot of people show kindness, but the way that man looked at you and your daughter, that wasn't just kindness. That was care, real care." The nurse finished her checks and moved toward the door. "Don't be too proud to accept a good thing when it comes along. Life doesn't hand out many second chances." After the nurse left, Amara closed her eyes. She thought about the last 3 years, working herself to exhaustion, never seeing Zara enough, living in constant fear of the next bill, the next crisis, the next disaster. She thought about Zara's face when she talked about Minjun, the way her daughter had relaxed in his presence, feeling safe for the first time in who knows how long. She thought about Minjun's words, "Pride is expensive." Her own mother had been proud too proud to ask for help when she lost her job, too proud to accept assistance when the money ran out, too proud to admit she couldn't do it alone. Amara had inherited that pride, wearing it like armor against a world that had already hurt her once. But pride didn't pay bills. Pride didn't put food on the table. Pride didn't give Zara the stable, happy childhood she deserved. Amara opened her eyes and looked at her sleeping daughter. Zara's small hand was curled against her chest, her breathing soft and even. She looked peaceful, content. "Okay," Amara whispered to the empty room. "Okay, I'll accept. For you, baby girl, I'll accept the help." She pressed the call button for the nurse. When the same kind-faced woman appeared in the doorway, Amara said, "Can you ask Mr. Kang to come back? I need to talk to him." The nurse smiled. "I thought you might. He's in the waiting room." Never left. 10 minutes later, Minjun knocked softly on the door and entered. He'd removed his suit jacket and rolled up his shirt sleeves. He looked tired but alert. "You wanted to see me? I'll take the job," Amara said, the words coming out in a rush before she could change her mind. "I'll work hard. I'll prove myself, and I'll pay you back somehow for the hospital bill." "There's nothing to pay back," Minjun said. "That was a gift, not a loan. Then I'll work extra hours. I'll take on additional projects. Amara's voice broke. "I'll find a way to show you this wasn't a mistake." Minjun crossed the room and sat in the chair beside her bed again. "Miss Johnson, the only way this becomes a mistake is if you don't take care of yourself, if you burn out again, if you push yourself past your limits trying to prove something." He looked at her seriously. "I need you healthy and whole. That's the condition of employment. You work reasonable hours. You take your vacation time. You ask for help when you need it. Deal?" Amara laughed, a sound somewhere between joy and disbelief. "Deal. Good. My assistant will bring the paperwork tomorrow morning. You start in 2 weeks. That gives you time to recover and get moved into the corporate housing." Minjun stood to leave, then paused. "And Miss Johnson, welcome to Dragon Media Group. I think this is going to work out very well for both of us." After he left, Amara held Zara close and let herself cry. But this time they were tears of relief, of hope, of the first deep breath she'd taken in 3 years. Maybe, just maybe, things were finally going to be okay. Quick reminder, friends, if you're enjoying this story, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's continue. Morning light filtered through the hospital room window, painting everything in shades of pale gold. Amara woke to find Zara already awake, sitting cross-legged on the end of the hospital bed and coloring in a book someone must have brought while Amara slept. "Morning, baby," Amara said, her voice still rough from sleep and dehydration. "Mommy, you're awake." Zara abandoned her crayons and crawled carefully up the bed to hug her mother. "The nice nurse said you're much better. She said we can go home today." Home. The word made Amara's stomach clench. Their apartment wouldn't be home much longer. In 2 weeks they'd be evicted. But now, thanks to Min Jun's unbelievable offer, they'd have somewhere else to go. It was real, if he hadn't changed his mind overnight. A knock on the door interrupted her thoughts. A woman in her 30s entered, carrying a leather portfolio and wearing a professional blue dress. Her black hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her smile was warm but businesslike. "Good morning, Miss Johnson. I'm Yoon Soo Jin, Mr. Kang's executive assistant. He asked me to bring over the employment paperwork for you to review." Soo Jin set the portfolio on the rolling table near the bed. "How are you feeling this morning?" "Better," Amara said, suddenly very aware of her wrinkled red blouse. "Thank you for coming." "Of course. Mr. Kang takes care of his people." So Jin opened the portfolio and pulled out a neat stack of documents. "I have your employment contract here, along with information about benefits, the corporate housing arrangement, and your start date." Amara read through everything carefully. The contract was straightforward. No hidden clauses, just clear terms. Position, lead photographer, Dragon Media Group. Salary, $120,000 per year. Benefits, full health insurance starting day 1, 4 weeks paid vacation, professional development allowance, housing, rent-free corporate housing for first 3 months, housing subsidy after. "Miss Johnson," Soo Jin said gently, "I know this probably feels overwhelming, but I promise you, this is legitimate. I've worked for Mr. Kang for 8 years. He's demanding but fair. He expects excellence, but provides everything you need to achieve it." "Why does he care so much?" Amara asked. "He could hire anyone." Soo Jin was quiet for a moment. Mr. Kang's grandmother raised him after his parents died. She worked herself to death trying to give him opportunities. He was 16 when she had a massive heart attack. She died before the ambulance arrived. Soo Jin's voice softened. "He spent the last 20 years making sure no one who works for him has to make that choice between their health and their family's survival." Amara felt tears sting her eyes. She understood that kind of loss, that bone-deep terror of leaving your child alone in the world. "Okay," Amara said, reaching for the pen. "Where do I sign?" 20 minutes later, all the paperwork was complete. Amara Johnson was officially the lead photographer of Dragon Media Group. "Mommy?" Zara climbed back onto the bed. "Are we really going to live in that apartment with the playground?" "Yes, baby. We really are. And you won't have to work 3 jobs anymore. No more 3 jobs. Just one good job. And we'll have enough food?" The question broke Amara's heart. "We'll have plenty of food, Zara. I promise." 2 weeks later, they moved into the corporate housing apartment. It was beautiful. Modern kitchen, 2 bedrooms, a playground in the courtyard. Zara ran through the rooms with pure joy. "Mommy, my room is huge. And there's a closet." That night, for the first time in 3 years, Amara slept soundly. No worries about eviction, no anxiety about bills, just peace. Her first day at Dragon Media Group exceeded every expectation. The office was modern and welcoming. Her workspace had a stunning view of Seoul, and on her desk sat a brand new professional camera with a note, "Every photographer needs the right tools. Welcome to the team." KMJ Min Jun stopped by her office at noon. "Miss Johnson, how's your first morning going?" "It's overwhelming," Amara admitted. "Everyone is so nice. The equipment is incredible. I keep waiting for someone to tell me there's been a mistake. There's no mistake. You belong here." Min Jun poured water for both of them. "Tell me about your photography background." They talked easily, naturally, about her love of capturing moments, about her dreams of art school, about Zara, and how she'd sacrificed everything for her daughter. "You're a good mother, Miss Johnson," Min Jun said. "Don't ever doubt that." The sincerity in his voice made Amara's throat tight. "Thank you. You don't know how much I needed to hear that." "And Amara?" he said. "You can call me Min Jun." It was the first time he'd used her first name. The sound sent a flutter through her chest. 3 months passed in a rhythm of work and growing confidence. Amara threw herself into every project, and her photographs won praise from clients and colleagues alike. "These aren't just pictures," Min Jun said during a presentation. "These are stories." But the most unexpected development was her growing connection with Min Jun himself. It started small, quick conversations, casual lunches. Then it grew into something more. She noticed little things about him. The way his eyes lit up when discussing new projects. The way he remembered small details about everyone's lives. The way he was kind not just to her, but to everyone. He was a good person. And Amara was starting to fall for him. Then came the charity gala. Dragon Media Group was sponsoring the Seoul Children's Hospital fundraiser, and Min Jun asked Amara to attend as the company photographer. "Bring Zara," he said. "We have a kids program running during the event." That night, Amara wore a deep blue dress that made her feel beautiful for the first time in years. Zara wore matching pink. "Mommy, we look like princesses," Zara declared. At the gala, Min-jun approached her with warmth in his eyes. "You look stunning." Her breath caught. He wore a black tuxedo that fit perfectly. "Thank you. You look very nice too." He introduced her to important people, speaking about her work with genuine enthusiasm. No one looked at her like she didn't belong. After dinner, the band played slow music. Couples moved onto the dance floor. "Dance with me?" Min-jun asked, extending his hand. Her heart raced. This felt like crossing a line, but she couldn't refuse. "Okay." He pulled her close, one hand at her waist, the other holding her hand gently. They swayed together, and the ballroom faded away. "I'm glad you came tonight," he said. "Me too. Amara, I need to tell you something." His hand tightened at her waist. "These past few months, getting to know you, watching you thrive, it's meant more to me than you know." He met her eyes directly. "I have feelings for you. Real feelings." The world tilted. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything right now. But if there's even a chance you feel something too, I'd like to explore what that could mean for us." Amara thought about how her heart lifted every time she saw him, about how his opinion mattered more than anyone else's. "I feel something too," she admitted, "but I'm scared. Zara's father left us. I can't go through that again." "I understand. We can take this slow. All I'm asking for is a chance." "Okay," she whispered. "A chance." Over the following months, their relationship deepened. Min-jun became a fixture in their lives. He helped Zara with homework, attended her art shows, learned to braid her hair. One Saturday, he took them to Nami Island. Zara ran ahead on the paths while they walked hand in hand. "This is perfect," Amara said. "I can see a future with you." Min-jun replied, "With both of you. I want to be part of your lives." Tears pricked her eyes. "You really mean that?" "I've never meant anything more." That evening, Zara asked, "Mommy, could Mr. Min-jun be my daddy?" Amara knelt to her level. "Would you like that?" "Yes. He's nice to me. He makes you smile, and he doesn't act like I'm annoying." Amara hugged her daughter tight. "He can definitely be important to us." When Min-jun came for dinner that night, Amara told him about Zara's question. His expression went serious. "If I'm going to be in your lives, I'm all in," he said. "Not temporary, all in." "We come as a package deal," Amara warned. "School events, pediatrician appointments, Disney movies. I want all of it." He took her hands. "I'm falling in love with you, Amara, and I care deeply about Zara. I want to be someone she can depend on." "I'm falling in love with you too," she whispered. Then he kissed her, soft and gentle and perfect. "Are you guys kissing?" Zara's voice came from the doorway. She was smiling. "Does this mean Mr. Min-jun is your boyfriend now?" "Yes," Amara said. "Good. Can we eat dinner? I'm hungry." They laughed together, and the evening dissolved into warmth and joy. In February, Min-jun took them to his villa in Gangwon-do. Standing on the deck overlooking snow-covered mountains, he took a deep breath. "Would you consider building a future with me? Marriage, family, the whole thing." Amara didn't hesitate. "Yes." His face lit up. "Yeah?" "Yes. I want all of it with you." He kissed her with joy and relief. The next morning, they told Zara, "I asked your mom to marry me," Min-jun said. "And there's something else. I would like to be your dad, actually adopt you." Zara's eyes went wide. "Would I call you Dad?" "Whatever you're comfortable with. I think I'd like to call you Dad." She launched herself into his arms. "I always wanted a dad who wanted to stay." The adoption became official in June. They stood in a courtroom while the judge smiled at their family. "Do you understand the responsibilities you're taking on?" the judge asked Min-jun. "Yes, Your Honor, completely." "And Zara, do you understand Mr. Kang will legally become your father?" "Yes," Zara said clearly. "And I want him to be my dad. He already acts like my dad." "Then I declare this adoption legal and binding. Congratulations to your family." Min-jun swept Zara into his arms. "Hey, daughter." "Hey, Dad," she responded. Everyone got misty-eyed. In August, they married at Nami Island, where they'd had their first family outing. Amara wore champagne. Zara wore matching pink. "I promise to be your partner in all things," Min-jun said in his vows. "And Zara, I promise to be the father you deserve." Amara's vows were equally moving. "You saw me at my lowest and chose to help. I promise to love you for exactly who you are." At the reception, Zara gave a toast. "I'm only 7, but I know what real love looks like now. Thank you to my dad for being the dad who stayed. And thank you to my mom for being brave enough to let love happen again." Later, Min-jun gave Amara a necklace with 3 intertwined circles. "One for each of us. Connected, unbreakable, family." As they drove home that night, Zara chattering in the back seat, Amara realized something profound. She hadn't been saved by a wealthy CEO. She'd saved herself by being brave enough to accept help, to take chances, to believe in happiness again. And Min-jun hadn't saved her. He'd joined her, partnered with her, built something beautiful alongside her. "Do you think we'll always be this happy?" she asked. "As long as we choose each other every single day." He replied, "Yes, I choose you," she said. "Today and every day, I choose you too. Forever." And they meant it, not as empty words, but as truth. They'd chosen each other once in that hospital room. They'd keep choosing each other for the rest of their lives, because that's what real love is. Not a once-and-done decision, but a daily commitment to show up, to try, to build something beautiful together. If this story touched your heart, I hope you'll carry it with you. I hope the next time you see someone society has overlooked, you'll remember Amara. And I hope the next time you're at your breaking point, you'll remember that sometimes salvation comes in the most unexpected forms. Because the truth is, we're all one bad day away from needing someone to see us. And we're all one moment of kindness away from being someone's miracle. That's the story I wanted to share with you today.